Welcome everybody. Usually I'd be saying another Monday, another Game of Thrones episode, but it's not Monday. It's what, Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
It
Happy
is
birthday,
Wednesday.
Mo.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yes, Game of Thrones. No, not Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon. I'm sorry. So yes,
Same difference.
No. If there's one thing I wanted to say, I think I told it to you in the chat. I was like, listen, if the theme of this season is to outgross every episode, and they did that.
Oh,
Every
God.
episode, in my opinion, has been outgrossed by the last one. Because if last week we were grossed out by the feet, by the
that was a
fans,
different kind of.
It was a different kind. It was a yucky gross. It was like like really gross. But like this episode has outgrossed every episode that has come before it. This episode is outgrossed any Game of Thrones episode to me.
Are we all right. When we specifically talk about gross here, like, because as you said, there's different levels of gross.
Right.
So I think in pure like visual grossness, the only thing that comes close is the dude's dick in the first episode.
Oh, because they slapped it on a board too.
Yeah, like that was quick. Like that was quick. That was not me like playing Marvel Snap with my screen over to like so I don't have to see the screen.
Yeah, no,
which is what I did yesterday when I was watching this.
Visceral. They made sure that you don't miss any more. Like if you try to hide and when you come back, because what they did with this episode was they kept cutting it with another scene, right? But they made sure that they stretched it out for at least 5 minutes. Unnecessary.
Like forever.
It did. It was such an unnecessary scene, in my opinion, because the message could have been carried. The same way you ended the episode is the same way you could have carried that message throughout this. You could have carried that message, because if you showed the dragon go chomp, which is a funny moment to me, you show the dragon go chomp. You don't show anything. There's no blood. There's no. I mean, obviously you're not going to see it because it's going to be really tiny blood, right? Compared to Vagar's mouth, but like. You don't show any remnants. At least a little piece of the boy's leg. I'm sorry. But you do your best not to show any like gratuitous grossness from that. But this was where you're like, no, we're going to spend.
I do not know
how right here.
How someone who is a recent parent or is a pregnant person or in a relationship with a pregnant person could possibly watch this show, because this show has 2 people who die in childbirth, right? There's the mom and then Damon's wife,
yes,
right? Then there's this miscarriage scene, which is just a fucking lot. Like I was just like, wow, like it is easily the most physically gross. The body horror, like, was a big deal in the first episode, and the body horror is back in the last episode. So at the very least, there's symmetry there. But like, definitely was very hard to watch. Very similar, actually, to the first episode.
The worst part of it was, okay, so yeah, she had the miscarriage, but then did you have to show the stillbirth premature? You did not have to do that. You absolutely did. Like, we didn't need to see the visual of a quote unquote of that era's premature birth. We didn't need to see that.
I mean, I was impressed, like, because the reason one reason I don't think you need to see it is Emma D'Arcy, the actor who plays Rhaenyra as an adult, like, she owned it in this episode.
Yeah,
like, she sold the miscarriage. She sold Rhaenyra being torn between her strength and her wanting to like be the queen that her father would have wanted her to be really well. She sells her encounter with Daemon really well. Like, they sell. Emma D'Arcy is non-binary. Apologize. But they just really sell the whole every sequence with Rhaenyra. And I was just like really impressed. Like, the actress who played Rhaenyra when she was young was excellent, but I was fully on board with Emma's interpretation of the character by the end of this episode.
Yeah, by the end of this episode, I'm like, you know what? While I still have affection or I say affection? Is that the word I want to say?
Affection
Well,
is the
affection for the actress who played Renera as a child. I have.
Sorry,
We are
drugs.
sorry.
All
We are
right, we were
sorry.
just we. It's been a busy time.
It has. It was my birthday yesterday,
I was
and
visiting my father-in-law.
I was not doing any shows. Trust me, you did not want to hear
Yeah, he didn't even do
anything.
that sports show that I
I
asked him, I was
didn't.
like, "You want to do it tomorrow?" He's like, no, just the sports show." And I was like waiting, like I was waiting on my phone for the sports show because I didn't
There
have
was
anything
no.
to watch.
There was
There's
no
no sports
sports show
show.
yesterday.
All right, because I couldn't watch the sports show today because I was watching Andor. Yeah, that's kind of like no, Jacques, don't worry. We've all been giving Mo a hard time. So
Nah, it's fine. But no, okay, so let's go back to the top of it, right? What I did like though of the last two episodes, I think the last two episodes were great in the fact that they were mirror episodes, right? It's like on one end we get to see what the Greens are doing, in their preparation and all, what they want to do. And when I say they were mirror episodes, if you look at the Greens episode, Allison doesn't want to do what her dad wants her to do in terms of trying to get the throne, right? She doesn't want to kill Rhaenyra, and she doesn't want to do that. All she wants is like, okay, fine. My husband said Aegon was going to be king, right?
I'm still torn up about that. That was really dumb. I mean, like I have such complicated feelings about several interpretations of this, but that was like kind of the beginning of for me. They're like, oh, they're gonna just like. Anyway, we'll get to that.
Right, and then you turn around on the green side. Damon is ready to just like he's ready to slice heads.
I
Like,
mean,
he's
his
like,
wife is literally almost dying, failing to give birth to their child, and he's like, send the troops there. He's playing fucking Call of Duty. He's the fucking piece of shit who's playing Call of Duty when his like wife is like giving birth. He's like, oh, your wife went down to the hospital. It's like, are you canceling your like your WoW raid? It's like, no, bro, we've been doing this forever. Like,
you know the worst part. You know the worst part, the most phony part of all of this is that he said they killed my brother. He doesn't care about Viserys at all.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about Viserys one bit, right? Yeah, that was terrible. And according to one of our friends, there was a sex scene that was written into that. I'm so glad.
That would have just been Jamie, Cersei, Redux.
Yes,
like
I'm
that
so
was.
they cut that
I'm glad
off.
they cut that too. Because I mean, it. Yeah, I'm glad they cut it because like.
All she wants me is to do the dishes. You are going to build the shit out of this bag.
Like, I mean, Daemon is the worst husband. Like, really. And also, like, I mean, this episode, if we're going to talk about Daemon, like, this is the mask off, like, moment for Daemon. Mm-hmm. I am really, really glad that they didn't include the sex scene because So I don't know. Were we talking about this on the cast? I don't know.
But, yes. So,
so go ahead. Oh yeah, go ahead. I was good. Well, we're not at the spousal abuse scene. I'll wait. I'll do this whole thing.
Right. So the thing I like is the mirror episode, right? So both women who are supposed to make it, so this is I think the best line. The line that sealed the actor playing Rhaenyra for me. Again, it was a great line, but her delivery was also great about it when she tells Daemon, so do you want me to go to war because I'm angry? And Damon's like, yes. And she's like, no. That's like, again, further enforcing the fact that the men are the ones who are just making stupid decisions, and the women who are supposed to make decisions are based off emotion, who can't make executive decisions, are the ones actually keeping the realm together. Again, that was further I want to talk about Rhaenyra as well. That was further cemented when Rhaenyra goes, that girl, that person who we hate, is literally keeping everything together right now because she could have plunged again. Would Rhaenyra be valid in her if she wanted to go to war? I think yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Would've been-
inarguably, like her
Yes.
father has repeatedly said that she should be the heir, and her brother has usurped it.
Right, and her brother. Right, so her brother.
I mean, yeah, it'd be
friend-
interesting to see the direction they take Damon's daughters. It's like they're kind
Right.
of
So
not that big a
I'm sorry.
deal in the book at this point in the book. So
Okay. So yeah. So again, I'm looking at the women on the show, and like the women on the show are actually the ones that are not supposed to be queens
Mhm.
are the ones, or kings are the ones make like level-headed decisions, because Rhaenyra could have ended the war before it started. You know, when she for no reason popped her dragon, like she did kill people. Or she
well,
killed
she
the
killed normies. Let's not forget
killed the
this. She killed background characters. See, uh, yeah, I mean that's fair. Although who knows if dragons will do anything you tell them to do, which we'll
right.
get to.
Right, which we'll get to at the end. She killed people, but she didn't kill the major players,
Yeah, of
right?
course. I mean, what is the lives of a few peasants who are just there for the free food? Like,
Right.
what is that? Like,
There for the
she's
open
the
bar.
blood of the
Imagine you
dragon.
going to the wedding for the open bar and dying. Like, it's not even, you don't even know the people you just invited. You were +1.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine being a +1 and dying by dragon, not even by dragon fire, just debris. That shit would have pissed me off. I'd be in the Seven Hells like mad as shit. And again, Rhaenyra, it's showed in this episode that Rhaenyra made smart decisions every which way. I'm not gonna start this war. I'm not gonna be the one to make mistakes. I'm not gonna be the one to be the aggressor. If anything, whatever I do from this point on would be me retaliating.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhaenyra was a surprise character to me in this episode. You want to talk about Rhaenyra?
Yeah, she did more than she has in a while on this show, right? Like,
Right.
she took an active role that I think,
Mhm.
and also I think it was it was an interesting character development for her that she became
Correct.
like such a big supporter for Corlys, right? And of course, like one of the things that I do wish they had done a better job of was like showing her like commitment to her like adoptive grandchildren, right? Because she was all about like they don't matter in a previous episode, that Jason, Lucerys, and Joffrey just like don't matter to her, and that what matters is Damon's daughter / Lena, right? And then of
Yes.
course she says to Corlys like they're gonna kill, like they will kill these people. Now it could be like now that she's seen what like Otto is killed. Oh yeah, that did you catch that part? We talked about that already.
Oh,
Doug.
we started showing that.
Like I think maybe what they were trying to imply is like she saw how serious the Greens were about this, and now it's like more real that those children are like under threat, and she's more willing to go to that. Like I just wish, because it was such a big moment in a previous episode where she was just like, I don't give a fuck about Rhaenyra's kids. Like they're not our kid. They're not part of our family, right? Like I wish that we had gotten a little bit more about that, but I found the scene between her and Corlys overall like really, really strong. One of the strongest scenes in the episode.
Right. He's back.
And his scene was good too.
Yeah, it was a very weird way to wake him up, but he's back. And then the thing he says when he wakes up, I've had men whipped. Like, shut up, man. That's your wife, bro. But I guess it was, a little light joke between the two of them. And I did like her scene between the two of them because, again, okay, so I have to ask you this. We're at this season. Let me know if this question is a spoiler. Does she find out about her son?
Well, they remember that's not in the book. In the book, he's just dead.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what direction they're going to go there. In the book, he is dead. Dunzo.
Wait, he actually died, but he died in.
So
battle,
in
right?
that setup, right, where they set it up that it looked like his boyfriend killed him, right? In the book, that's what happens, is that his boyfriend kills him.
Correct.
And it's left ambiguous whether his boyfriend did it because they had a spat or whatever, or if Daemon ordered it. Like, that's ambiguous. But like in the book, what they set up to allow Laenor to escape actually happens. Like Laenor is just straight dead. He's like killed at like at a marketplace.
Okay, all right.
They get in a spat and he stabs him.
So I'm gonna ask you this then: in the book, does it also look like Rhaenyra had something to do with it, or this was just?
It was a Daemon.
It's
it was
open
more like it's open ended that Damon had something to do with it.
Okay, so she doesn't blame Rhaenyra for it as they
Um,
do in the show.
I think they kind of blame Damon, well, more Damon than Rhaenyra, but it
Okay,
is designed to free Rhaenyra for being able to marry Damon after Lena
okay,
dies. But also in
okay.
the book, like Lena, Rhaenyra, and Damon are kind of a triad. Like in
I can
so
see that. Like
um
Matt Smith gives me those vibes.
because after Harwin Strong, there's more time. Harwin Strong dies, and then Rhaenyra spends the rest of the time hanging out with Damon and Lena and so
Wait, Lena.
yeah. So Damon's wife,
Oh, okay, Damon's
Rhaenyra,
wife. Oh, okay.
and Damon are like a
Yeah,
triad in the book.
he does give me those vibes. He does 100% give me those vibes.
So, but I thought that
I'm not. You're right. Because at the end of every episode, like
uh,
you can ask Roy, at the end of every episode,
mhm.
I'm always like, "So what happened?" I'm also trying not to get too spoilery for the show, but trust and believe, drunk outside of the show, the questions do get asked. Now, do they get answered? This is the most important. That's the point we need to make. Okay, so no, but I did like the scene with Rhaenyra and Corlys. I like that. I liked Corlys, and it's funny though. Like Corlys comes into the painted table scene, right?
Mhm.
And he almost commands. He almost commands the attention. Like he's like, and I like that, but I also had a problem with it. Like I guess the problem I had with it was it's not that big of a problem. It's a petty problem. It's because like damn, like so Rhaenyra really can't control like these people. Like a man has to come in and control them. But I get it. This is not just any man. This is the sea snake. This is the guy who controls the stepstones, the narrow sea, right? Because he did say at that point they control the narrow sea. But so this is the biggest navy in the world,
So
as we know, right?
what I took away from that scene wasn't so much like that Rhaenyra couldn't control these people, was that they didn't have a chance of winning without the sea snake, right? Where if the like all of the tension and eyes are on him, not because like Rhaenyra didn't necessarily have power, but
Got you.
because like if he said fuck you, like they're down. Like it doesn't matter how like great Rhaenyra is, right? Like
Right.
and so they were just sort of seeing, or if he was neutral, they would also be screwed, right? But him
Mhm.
being willing to throw his lot behind that, and then later his wife being like, "Yeah, I'll go patrol the gullet so the dragons don't attack our ships," right? Is basically saying like we're on board, and at that point, other houses are going to be willing to sign on, right? Because easily the one of the most powerful houses that wasn't in the books, that isn't a Stark, a Lannister, Tyrell, or what am I saying? A Tully,
Mhm.
or what am I saying? Stark, oh, Greyjoy, right? Joins them. So I think that's what the tension in that scene is. At least it was for me, right? Because as soon
Right.
as he says yes, like all attention turns back to Rhaenyra.
Okay. And
So
I do have her like you. I like when Rhaenyra goes, yes, me too. And I feel like there was there was a look between it. You know what? It took me back to that episode where they had that argument.
mm-hmm.
What was like when she was young, and it was like what was it like? You think you're going to change the world. You're a woman. That argument, right? And it finally came back full circle. Was like, you know what? I trust you. I think you have a good head on your shoulders, and I think I'm going to cast my lot in with you. You also have you also be betrothed to my grandchildren, so I kind of will have to protect you. So, and then the thing happens with the okay, let's send ravens to Boris Baratheon.
Boros Baratheon,
Well, yeah, Boris Baratheon, and
piece of shit.
Jacaerys goes, "Hey, we got dragons. Send us. They'll be more inclined to listen to dragons." I already knew that was some fuck shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, it's about to be like, it's not gonna go how we think it's gonna go, right? It's gonna be some fuck shit. Like, And then I think the funniest part to me was when they actually show the dragons leave. Oh, before that, Rhaenyra goes to.
Are we skipping over Damon? Or are we ready to talk about the spousal abuse stuff?
Damn, I didn't want to talk about it, but go ahead. Let's talk about it. Let's talk
All right.
about it.
Like that's the masks off moment, right? Of the whole episode.
Yes, 100%.
So I want to go back to it. So I was watching this other show that was called. Like I was on PBS. It was this show about this like family of Americans that runs this hotel in a hotel Verfino, whatever it was. It's this like light Downton Abbey style show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you spoilers for the season for the second to last episode, folks. So if you don't want to know what Hotel Portofino, that's what it was. Spoilers. I'm gonna give spoilers. Go for like 30 seconds because it's very similar to this. You're just watching this show. And then, you know, the main character is this woman. She has kind of a shitty husband, but you're like, oh, is he going to get less shitty? Is he going to get not less shitty? And sometimes he's nice, sometimes he's not. And then in the second to last episode, he smacks her across the face, right? And you're just like watching this Downton Abbey style show, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And you just can't go back. Once a male character puts his hands on his spouse or a female character like this, there's just no going back. Like Damon is just unapologetically like evil. None of this like fun fuckboy stuff that they've been like trying to have it both ways with Damon. Like they have now said, because this was not in the book. I mean, Damon's a piece of shit, but there's no like Damon beat Rhaenyra up so that she would, you know, start a war. That's not in the book, right? This is now like Damon is a wife abusing piece of shit. And
I mean, he did kill his wife, his lady wife.
Right. He put his murder cloak on. All right. So I just like it was just like so like there. They like went there, and I'm glad that they didn't like make it like Rhaenyra's into it, which was
it's like you almost forget. Like they've done a good job of kind of making you forget because it's been husband and wife for a minute. Mm-hmm. But that's his niece.
That is his niece, yeah.
That
he groomed. Daughter. Let's not forget that he groomed through the whole first part of the series. So I just that scene was just like, all right, cool. Like I'm glad they're just saying Damon's a piece of shit.
In episode 1, I'm gonna find that video and I'm gonna send it to you. When he put that necklace on her, I said, "Roy, this looks very weird." And I was like, "Oh no, don't worry about it." Well, I feel like you would set me up. That's not what you said.
I went like this, I think.
Yes, I feel like you would set me up for what would happen later. And
there's a bunch of times that I covered my face. Like
you were trying so hard not to spoil it. And I don't want to say I appreciate you. I feel like that's one of the times you should have spoiled.
No, I mean I don't want to like Mo. I will spoil anything for you, but I will not do it on the show unless we say we're a spoiler open show. Like we want to do an episode where I can spew all the money that I've wasted on Game of Thrones. Like I literally bought the new version of Fire and Blood that's got the nice pictures. Like that's what this show did to me. All right, I bought Game of Thrones merchandise, which I haven't for a long while.
Oh, I bought House of Dragon Pops, which I haven't bought Game of Thrones Pops since season 4.
I wouldn't mind a Rhaenyra pop. That would be pretty cool. All right, but
so yeah, that scene was intense, and I think what sealed the scene for me, what made it even great for me, right? I think what made the scene for me was Rhaenyra turning to Daemon and going like, "He never told you, right?" And then like the chuckle, I was like, "Yes," because Daemon is sitting there like, so wait, he told you? Because that confirms, because Daemon was supposed to be the heir, right? And in my mind, for that transition to be complete, you have to know about the Song of Ice and Fire. He has to tell you about that. He has to promise, he has to tell you to, to keep that going.
Pass it along.
And he never told you. And so I loved, he was steaming, and you can see what would you do? You're going to kill her?
Mm-hmm. All of his authority comes from her.
Yes.
But he just views her as a front for his authority, right? Like he's constantly undermining her, even way more than Corlys does, even way more than Otto does, right? But in this episode.
Yes. let's talk about the scene where Eric comes in, and the whole, like, he brings her father's crown, which like solidifies, and I think again, our her major concern, and everyone's concern to her was, no one is gonna bow to a woman king or a woman, like, at that point. And at that point, everyone kind of bends the knee, and it was like, okay, this was kind of it was very
It
cool,
was a cool moment.
except Rhaenyra. That
She
was kind
doesn't
of
bow.
funny. She doesn't bow. She smirks, but it comes full circle when she's like, "Yes, I'm gonna take Meleese, and I'm gonna patrol the Gulf and solidify that for you." And I was like, "Okay, great." But like Drunk said, the only reason Damon is gonna be needed in this point is you need someone who who uh who's with the shits for
I mean,
better.
he is all about the fighting, right?
Yes,
Like, I think, yeah, the violence of him is something that we're going to see more of. So
yes. You're about to go to war, so you actually kind of need someone who's with the shits, and I think that's going to be I don't know, you haven't told me this, but I feel like that's going to be Damon's character moving forward. It's just he's going to be the one. He's going to be maybe the general, right, for armies. He's
yeah, I
going to
mean,
be
I
the
don't think that's a spoiler. That's like the
All right,
implication
great,
of the show. Yeah.
right. So I can say that's his only reason, and he's gonna die probably super painful, but he's not
No
looking
comment.
at
I
it.
am not.
No,
Well,
no, I don't know this. You actually haven't told me this. So I'm just saying he's gonna die really painfully. Um, I don't know. I think we're going more Damon and Aemond. It's again something I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think
Damon
that's what
versus
we're going.
Aemon. I mean, do we want, before we jump? Speaking of Damon versus people, before we jump to Aemon, though, what did you think of Joffrey in this episode? No, not Joffrey. Jacaerys, Jace. Sorry, not Joffrey. Joffrey's too young still.
Oh yeah, just
Jacaerys.
he's a piece of shit.
Talk about Jace, the older brother.
Yeah, he was when he was training with his younger brother, and he was like being a bully. He's kind of a piece of shit.
Interesting. That's not kind of how I read him, because he was the only one. He was willing to stand up to Damon, right? Like that, he had
Yes, he
that stare
was. He
down
was.
where he's like,
I'm,
"No,
I'm
my mother
guessing
has ordered you to do this."
yes, I'm guessing I'm calling him a piece of shit because of what because he was being a bully to his younger brother. But then that's like older
Yeah.
brother shit. I think I should just chuck that up as older brother shit. But like, I was very disappointed. I thought
I was
seemed
disappointed in that scene, but I felt he was otherwise
okay.
good.
Good. Yeah, no, but otherwise, yes, you're right. When he stands up to Damon, he's like, "My mother has said," because again, he's the one who's been trained to, like, he's been trained to be king, so he's moving like that. I think he's starting to move more like his positioning and his uh ooh,
Aemon versus Jace. That'd be cool. But I mean,
because
yeah,
yes, because you killed my brother, so now I gotta kill you. I mean, that feels very kung fu movie. Very, you killed my brother, and I gotta kill you. um he does because he's the one that was groomed to be king. I did like the scene with Luke and his mom, where it's like, I'm not ready. I get seasick.
that's
How
at the
can I
beginning.
be?
Yeah.
Like, they humanize Luke so much in this episode. It's like they were forced. Anytime to me, now I'm taking a lesson from this. When Game of Thrones starts humanizing a character, it's over. It's curtains. Okay, so where are we now?
So I
Are we,
think
are we
we're about to leave, but so I mean, I'm excited. Like, I think because Jace is going to go off to the Vale and the Starks, and that is a cool sequence. I'm excited to see it next season.
Yes.
So
We're
because
about to
Cregan
leave.
Stark's a cool dude.
So we're about to leave, and it's like, hey, make sure you don't start anything. Like, if trouble comes to you, don't,
You're a peace messenger.
Yes. I don't know if Aemon has respect for.
Yeah, I mean,
Does
he
he
does,
say he does?
in the sense of like respect for the system as he sees it, right? Like, he's not,
Yeah,
he doesn't
okay.
try to like kill Aegon. What, he's like, he's like, I would kill you if you weren't my brother, right? Like, he's like, he supports his brother even though his brother sucks.
Yes, he knows his brother sucks. Yeah, especially, we did talk about that last week. So yeah, like, you're a peace messenger. Just go and give my message and come back. That's all I want you to do. And I also thought that was a mother advising her son, just to be chill. And that scene again, I promise you, when they start humanizing a character on Game of Thrones, it's curtains. He's like a focus for some reason. He gets bullied by his brother. He doubts himself in the beginning of the episode. His mom is like, it's funny because I'm pretty sure she gave that message to Jacaerys, but she really only like we only see her talk to Jacaerys, right? They all leave. Meleys, Arax, what's his dragon's name? What's Jake's dragon's name?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, so they all leave, right? Everyone goes where they're supposed to go. We get to the Baratheon house. and he lands his dragon. It's amazing what they did with lighting. And I know we complained about the lighting.
The lighting in some of the scenes is so bad. Like
right.
Like all of the stuff in the painted table is really hard to see.
Yes, it was. But when I say it's amazing what they did with lighting, because this is one of the places they played with the lighting a little bit until lightning hits the screen and
it was
Luke
cool.
is like, oh shit, that's a big ass dragon over there.
That's the one of two really cool Vhagar shots.
Right. I forgot about this scene with Damon when he's with the King's Guards.
Oh, and he and Jace are threatening them, basically.
Yeah, and he kind of intimidated. Yeah, it's like don't be out of pocket, or else I'm gonna have to fry you, chicken freaky seed. Oh yeah, Vhagar is the biggest dragon. I think that's what what's his name was trying to infer when he says, "Oh, we can go get
Thermithor." But no dragon is as big as Vhagar, because Vhagar is one of the three original dragons that the Targaryens brought when they took over Westeros. The other two, one dies during the conquest, the other one died shortly before the series would begin. And then
the black, right?
Yeah, Balerion, because that was the one that Viserys, the king, wrote. He was the last writer of Drogon, and then Vhagar, who
went to Lena,
and then Aemon got her.
Yeah. So we get there, and this is where I'm like, oh yeah, all this shit is going down, because he goes in and he's like, wait, you came in empty-handed. He's like, well, I mean, what do you want me to do? I'm already betrothed to my niece, nephew, cousin.
Well,
to
his cousin, because
my cousin's sister, to my sister cousin.
Because all right, his adoptive / official father is the uncle of his wife, so be his cousin.
Yeah, to my cousin's sister. So I can't really marry any one of your daughters. And of course, I'm pretty sure the Greens, saw this and saw ahead of it and had to go remind them. And it looks like Boris has made his decision, right? He's like, yeah, I'm not playing with you guys. But I think I don't know how this will go, right? Again, I don't know how this goes, but I'm thinking, right? Because when the shit starts to go down and it's like, okay, wait, and Boris sees he has no control over what's going on in his castle, I think Boris is gonna change his mind. I don't know. Does he change his mind? Is he?
I'm not gonna give you a spoiler, but I will say he is one of my least favorite characters. Like I really
so he's on the green side. He's on
all
the
right. So because Boros is just like a piece of shit throughout the entire story.
I mean, he was a piece of shit in that scene. Like
he is, yeah. Because he doesn't do anything, and the scene is even worse in the book.
Okay.
So
so this is my problem with the
book.
show, right?
The big change they do. There's a big change in this.
I mean, you can. Do you want? Would it be a spoiler if you tell us?
It's not a spoiler. Like Aemon just kills Luke. Like not like Vhagar like loses control.
So it wasn't that.
It was not that. He just is like, I'm gonna kill this kid. This kid took my eye. I'm gonna kill him.
So it wasn't an eye for an eye. It was like, I'm just gonna take your life.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna kill you.
So Boris lets that happen in his. He's
outside of his castle. They fly off like that. It's all the same when they fly off. And then instead of the accident that the dragons basically do it. right? Which I did not
Because
like that change. Like I did
because
not like
I
that
will
change.
I will say this though, the accident makes what Viserys says at one point. I think I don't remember the episode, but he does say it. We're not supposed to trifle with dragons. We were not supposed to try. It makes it. It brings it. It makes that, and it also makes what Rhaenyra said when she goes. What did Rhaenyra say? She said something about dragons. Oh crap! I forget what she said as well. Didn't she make a comment about dragons?
I don't know, but I mean, I think they're trying to give dragons more agency on this show, right? Because, like, could you imagine this have happened on Game of Thrones with Dany's dragons?
No.
Right.
They were super obedient to her. They were literally her babies.
Yes. So, like, yeah, I didn't like this whole like. It took like Aemon.
Oh yeah.
It's a big
Rhaenyra's thing
change.
was Rhaenyra's thing was these we don't have seasoned war dragons.
Yeah.
And so it makes Eryx look like you're not ready for war, whereas Vhagar has probably been through this and
He went through, or she went through it. Through it.
Oh man. I don't even think Aemon flew off before Vhagar. I think because his dragon is so big and can fly faster, I think he just caught up with. He just caught up.
I think he just did. I mean, the scene where like the Vhagar is above Luke is very beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful images.
But okay, so this is what I know. I know you're upset about the change. If you didn't tell me this, then I don't think I'd have looked at the scene any differently. I thought it was beautifully shot.
It was well done. Don't get me wrong.
I thought it showed that maybe the Greens have the more seasoned riders, because even a young Luke was able to say, okay, I have the smaller, faster dragon. I'm going to maneuver my small, fast dragon into spots. I'm going to do that, right? I think the tension of almost is he going to escape? Is he not? Is he? I think for us that haven't read the books, it heightens that for us, right? I think straight up killing him, I don't know how it was described in the books, but I think straight up killing him doesn't really work for TV.
That's fair. I mean, it's a big change to Aemon's character, right? Like, Aemon did not like want to just like troll him, which is kind of the implication, right, of what he wanted to do, right? Like, he's just like, no, that kid took my eye. I'm going to get revenge. Like, so not only am I going to get revenge, but he's also like my enemy's kid. Like, Aemon doesn't give a fuck in the book about
anything. So they tried to humanize Aemon is
right, because he looks legitimately like utterly shocked, right?
Shit, like, fuck, I fucked up. Like, it's about to be like the dragon like, back is all warm.
He's like the actor was like, oh fuck, like, oh shit.
Yeah, and again,
it was beautiful in a way.
Yeah. It was because why I say it shows like, you know, the Black Staff season writers is because of what Luke was able to do. At least Luke didn't go out like a punk, right? He didn't just die like a punk. Like, he was able to inflict damage to Vhagar, even though it was like little petty damage.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't mean to do it. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, in both cases, the dragons.
Oh, so he didn't.
Right. He even says like, no, what are you doing? Right. He thought he was escaping, and then
and he came out and hit the Dracarys.
And then the dragon hit Vhagar, and then Vhagar got pissed off. It was like, oh, it's on. It's like, you think you can breathe fire on me? I'm gonna eat you in half, right? Bro. Like, yeah, he's like, yeah, bro.
Like, that was sick.
It was definitely sick, and yeah.
Aemon going home to Alicent. Oh, those memes were. I'm not even gonna lie. And this is why I think Game of Thrones. Like, I think this was something we argued in the chat, where the social capital of Game of Thrones is just amazing because of the culture. Like, even though we are pissed at season 8 of Game of Thrones, we are mad at it. Like, everyone, I think
I'm not over it. So,
but yeah, but we are still able to make memes every Sunday. Monday, no, I think it's today's Wednesday.
Yeah,
and I feel like you can still find fresh memes, fresh memes, not even like day-old memes. You see, this is why Game of Thrones has the social capital it does. Like, even the 2-year gap is gonna suck, but I feel like the first Sunday, no, the first trailer will blow up the internet.
Oh yeah, but I mean, we still have like 18 months, at minimum, before the trailer.
I promise you that first trailer will blow up the internet because we're gonna see it from. So the show ends with, I think, was it Damon telling Rhaenyra, "Hey, look, man, the little one, he ain't coming
He's
back.
done.
He ain't coming. He's somewhere over the narrow seas.
Yeah, he's gone. Sorry, girl.
Or he might be dragon food. We don't know yet. Damon actually imprints with Vermithor.
No, I don't think that's what happened.
So that's not what. Okay.
I think he was just like channeling with the dragon, right? Like I think he was just preparing the dragon for, because Damon was like, we need to get other writers. I don't think he bonded with Vermithor. I could be wrong. That's not what happens in the book. So she can only be bonded with one dragon.
Okay, so would it be a spoiler? No, I think it would be a spoiler if you told us what happened. So never mind.
No, I won't say anything about that. But Damon did in the show say he wants more dragon writers. So
you think he was trying to tame Vermithor?
I think he was trying to get Vermithor ready for another
writer.
And I think it's also meant to show that Damon,
thing?
Because I think it's supposed to mean that Damon is as close as to a dragon that any Targaryen is. Like I think you're supposed to be like, I think it's this moment to remind you, right, that Damon is basically a human dragon. I think it's supposed to like contextualize his behavior with Rhaenyra. It's like, yeah, of course he abused her because he's a dragon, right? And that's where that like knowing look between the two, the dragon and
which draws a line to Vhagar not listening, or there's Eryx and Vhagar not listening to. I feel like this is a spoiler.
One of Damon's daughters does not have a dragon yet. That is correct.
I feel like the answer to this is a spoiler, so we're gonna leave that alone, right?
Yeah, we'll leave that alone for 18 to 24 months.
Right. Anyway, so the show ends. Rhaenyra is pissed.
Understandably.
Yes. Dang. Any question I have now is a spoiler because it's like what happens next.
Yeah, I 100% will not tell you what happens next. I will say there are some big things that will happen shortly thereafter, the beginning of the next season. They're not gonna be prepared to immediately have some fucked up stuff happen at the beginning.
So we're jumping into the Dance of the Dragons next season.
It's over. Yeah, like the show said that there's no more time skips.
Okay. So we're really just jumping into the shits then. Was how you feel. You know what's funny though? I was watching. I was on TikTok and there was this woman who posted like a Game of Thrones spoiler where it's like I think it was Baratheon's daughter, the one with the grace scale. She was telling us how like she was reading. Yeah, she was reading the Dance of the Dragons, and she literally told the whole story of like thousands die, and it's just oof.
Yeah, it's brutal stuff.
Yeah, no more time skips.
I mean, they'll have to explain as certain actors age, but yes, it's going to be much closer to Game of Thrones, right? Where like people will slowly age by nature, not by recasting.
Maybe the men will finally age.
Yeah, maybe the men. Yeah, it's true. Well, that's not true. Laenor has like three actors.
I mean, he was a child. If we're being honest, the children aged. The adults did it, except for Viserys.
And Kristen Cole's hair changed.
Otto didn't age.
Kristen Cole's hair changed.
Right. He grew a beard, a 5 o'clock shadow. Did he always have? No, he didn't. He started clean face and then 5 o'clock shadow. So I think it's fair to now jump back to episode 1 and say, so how do you?
I mean, that is kind of Matt Smith,
right? So how do you? Right, especially Venom. How did you like this season? Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing about Morbius.
I should. Yeah, I said Venom. I meant Morbius. How did you like this season? As someone who read the books and someone who kind of knows,
like, I think that this was a successful adaptation. There were things that I could disagree with as both like a pretty hardcore fan of the books, but I think most of the changes were made in good faith. like to like either recontextualize things in a way that made them more successful for television, or were because of the need to sort of move this at a reasonable pace, or some of the changes like Rhaenyra and Alicent being besties as children, it's just straight up better than the source material.
Okay.
I think that some of their choices in storytelling I strongly disagree with and found repulsive. That could be the physical grossness of this episode. That could be, I will not forget the Daemon Rhaenyra sex scene from like episode 5,
Episode 5,
4 or
where
5.
the female
Just
director.
gross. Yes, the female director one. Just honest to goodness, I'm still not over it. Like just thinking about it right now, it's just like
she was forced to say things.
all right. And like the guy, like again, this season, this is how I saw a guy's dick get chopped off, a teenager get groomed by her uncle, and a stillbirth. So yeah, it's Game of Thrones. Like it legitimately is just the return to form for Game of Thrones. It's kind of how I felt with the show, which is I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good adaptation. But there was definitely gross shit that is so much harder to stomach when you're watching it than when you're reading it.
Right.
So,
well, I agree with you. It's a return to form of Game of Thrones. But I will say this to add to that. Game of Thrones has a very good way of opening up. Like Game of Thrones, the first season opened up in a way that a lot, like it was something that we'd never seen before. House of Dragons almost feels like that, but it's you can tell it's Game of Thrones, like right. It almost feels like season 1. It almost feels like, oh damn, this is so good. It's something we've never seen before. But if you think about it, this is literally Game of Thrones. I will say this though, it's not made me forgive season 8,
No,
7, and 6, and 5, some of 5, because unlike a lot of people, I think Game of Thrones peaked at season 4. Season 5 was okay, and then 6, 7, and 8 were just horrible.
unbelievable.
It's not
just garbage.
oof.
Yeah. I mean, when did Ramsay first show up? Was it season 4? Was he that?
No. Ramsay showed up way earlier than that. He showed up after they take over the Winterfell.
Is he that early?
Yes, you remember he was the one who cut off what's his name's
I will never rewatch the show, so I have a
I mean
but what season does he cut off Theon's genitalia and do the stupid like season 4?
3?
Is it season 3?
Oh no, wait. When was the Red Wedding? Was 3, right?
Yeah, the Red Wedding was season 4, wasn't it?
No, the Red Wedding had to be season 3 because Jon Snow's death was season 4, and he comes back season 5.
Season 3, episode 9.
Oh, there we go.
And then Jon Snow death episode is
season 5.
Season 5, yeah.
Yeah, because he comes back season 6. Yeah,
season 6.
Literally, I think Game of Thrones
end of season
died.
End of season 4 is Stannis saving them at the wall. That's what the end of season 4 is.
Yes,
it's the big fight. Yeah, the big fight. Yeah, one of my favorite sequences in the book.
Yeah, so like it hasn't. This show is gonna do a for me. Mm-hmm. House of the Dragon. I'm cautious. So like Drunk, I'm looking at like a C minus because I think the memory of Game of Thrones proper is still here, and it sucks because I don't know about you, but I skip the intro all the time.
Oh, I skip it. Now that it's not as good. Like
it's not.
Like I don't know what it's representing. Like I really don't. Like the music is
at least yes.
I mean that's fair.
That is fair. To be honest, like at least when you watch the original Game of Thrones intro, there's it's showing you all of do I say King's Landing?
Westeros.
It's showing you all of Westeros.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch that, to be honest.
I will watch it. I mean,
I don't
it's
know.
just like
I
that's
don't
gonna
know.
like
You
that's
know,
like a shit show.
if we do this, then I
Oh,
will, because
I'll do this. Like I
it
can
feels
watch
like
it.
it feels like a shit. It feels like a shit post. It feels like a shit show.
Oh,
Because
it's gonna be a shit post. Like it's gonna be hate watching. Like
yeah, because
I
what the
like
hell? Like
like
why?
like it cannot be good. Like because like
You sent
what
him
do
off to be a
you
farmer. A farmer. Like
yeah like
what the
what do
fuck?
you want from a Jon Snow show? Like
He's
do
gonna
you
wake up.
want a
He's gonna
sequel to
wake
Game of
up one.
Thrones?
No, he's gonna wake up one morning and realize he should be king, and he's gonna go kill his
Kill
brother.
Bran? Like he's gonna go what throw his brother out of a window again? Like I don't understand any of this. Like
he's gonna he's
the
gonna
show is
finish.
impossible
He's
to be
gonna
good.
finish what's her name started.
With
Cersei
Cersei and
started.
Jamie started.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible for the Jon Snow show to be good. It's possible for it to be fucking hilarious to watch.
It is.
Like, which is why I'm gonna watch it. I will
If
100% be wasting my time watching it.
I
Like
will
I
say
will
this, if anything, more than House of the Dragon, that show is the one that I'm gonna pin Fixing GOT on. Because
it
that is a
can't
direct
though.
sequel. It can't, but
It can't. Like I think it's super smart. Like I think House of Dragons, and if they continue this into other stuff, is
yeah,
super
because they
smart.
announced I don't know how far along, but George R. Martin said he wants to do a coreless
Yeah,
show.
that's not that interesting. Not a show. Like I would watch like a movie, but most of the stuff Carlos does before this is not that interesting. He sails around a bunch. He gets some money.
So like
Whatever.
it's like watching what's the name of that pirate show that was
It's
on
like
Star
Pirates of
Wars?
the Caribbean. Like
like yeah, I mean I'd watch a pirate
I mean,
show with
Corliss is
dragons in it.
cool.
Yeah.
Like, and there's other cool Valerians that I don't want to like spoil, but there's some more.
I mean,
cool
I
Valerians
also
that show
kind of
up.
want to know. I also kind of want to know how we get to the Vaemon we get on the show. So that could be cool.
That could be cool. Like, I just don't think it's a whole fucking
look,
10
right,
episodes.
maybe one off season, right? A mini series.
Yeah, that
Like,
would be good.
that would be a mini series,
Like
you
3
know,
or
so
4 episodes.
yeah,
Or like
and
one of
that'd be
those
good.
Disney Plus style special presentations that they're doing now.
Yeah,
Like,
I think there is. I think there's content to be mined from Game of Thrones. I don't think it's future content. I think it's.
I agree. It's super toxic. Like, it's
Yes.
just not only is it super toxic, like there's just nowhere to go.
Yeah. I don't know if it's future because
Like,
again,
but
they should
like, do
do
you
what
want
Star
Peter
Wars is
Dinklage to
doing,
show
right?
up? Like, oh my god, I just
No, they should do what Star Wars is doing, right? Where it's like we're gonna do shows, prequel shows. We're gonna do maybe sequel shows because Mando is a maybe sequel because it falls in between, you know, the sequel trilogies.
Well, they're now going like they have said the new David Lindoff movie is post Rise of the Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker.
I think it's too
So
it's impossible to not add the.
Yeah, I know. It's Rise of Skywalker, which again I still haven't rewatched. It's the only Star Wars movie I've only seen once. Yeah, they're gonna mine. Well, this is the most successful HBO Max ever. Like straight up ever. Like
Disney's
Succession
doing it with Star Wars.
Like it's like, you know,
Why
sorry,
not?
you're like watching Rupert Murdoch's family fucking make money. I don't know
Right,
what that show is.
we really
I don't understand why people watch that show.
It is. Look, I just
Like, I don't know why
rich
people
white
watch that
people.
show.
I think rich white people drama is kind of interesting because I will never relate.
Well, I mean, that's fair. I can't relate because while I am a white person with a family and we have lots of drama, we are not that like it is.
No, like
we're not
like,
Murdochs. Like, I just don't want to know why you want to watch Rupert Murdoch's family like fucking make money. Like, I don't
That's
know.
all it is. It's
I don't, but I don't
it's-
like Mad Men style
it's
shows.
It's the most ridiculous over the top. It's not even. I don't think it's like a good show based on the. I just think it's a good show because it's ridiculous and over the top. I don't think it's real. Like as realistic, and I don't think it's a real show. I don't think
it's well acted. Like every episode I've seen, like is well done. But it's like at the same time, I'm like, why are like where were we with my sister?
Oh no, I don't think we get those. Not that's Game of Thrones, right? That's not
that's Game of Thrones. Like the Snow People do not show up again until the Game of Thrones like timeline. So like there's some really cool material. Like there's this, then there is the Blackfire Rebellion, where a different spin-off like the Targaryens have like another like familial split that leads to a war. That's really cool. And then there's an era after it with these characters called Dunk and Egg, where the great grandfather of Dany goes around and is raised by a hedge knight, like a normal person. right? And he kind of becomes like King Arthur. It's very well done. It's actually the best stuff Martin's done. I think it's better than the main books. So
Wait,
like there's
isn't that one of the spin-offs that we're getting?
yeah, we are getting that. So like there's
Exactly.
good
So, like there's so many spin-offs that we could be getting, and it's all prequel stuff. Then to actually touch,
I cannot believe
yes,
it.
It did actually.
Yeah,
did, like,
Song
a
and
couple
Ice and
times,
Fire
right?
is Danny and John, right? That's what the end of the show tells you. Like Song of
Yes.
Ice and Fire is Danny and John. Dunk and Egg. So I'll explain. So there's a character called Sir Duncan the Tall, and he is put responsible of raising who becomes King Aegon V, who's known as Egg when he's a kid. So like they go around and have like medieval style like adventures as like Aegon learns like what it means to be a king, what it means to be a person. So yeah, it is Lord of the Rings ish. So
It's not Two Tower though. I hope it's never.
no,
Two
it's
Tower.
not. I mean, I love the Dunk and Egg books. I think they're really good. Like
Okay.
they're my favorite things that Martin's ever written. So
I
there's
would
good stuff coming.
I would definitely watch prequel stuff. I don't like, honestly, if we don't do the Jon Snow stuff, I'm not gonna watch it anymore. I watched the first episode, but if we never actually finished doing it, I'm never watching it again because I don't understand what, like, he was sent off, right? Like, I'm trying to remember because I haven't rewatched it. I'm trying to remember.
So the last shot of it, no, the second to last
he's on a
shot
boat.
is no, they cross the wall. They get booted out of the wall. Like they go out of the wall. Like John leads the wildlings out of the wall.
Oh yes,
that's the second
person,
to last
the person
scene.
on the boat is Arya.
Arya goes off to find
South.
America. She goes to find America. She's Christopher Columbus. She goes Christopher Columbusing. That's what Arya does. And then Jon Snow goes north of the wall. Sansa's in charge of Winterfell. And then Bran and Tyrion are in charge of King's Landing.
In charge, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm guessing Jon Snow Adventures would be Jon Snow fighting
and the wildlings.
I'm good.
Like people like, do you want Tyrion to show up? Like that's what people are gonna want, but like it doesn't make any sense. And is Peter Dinklage gonna go back to Game of Thrones? No, that man has his money. He does not care. Like
he has Fox money, right? Because he
has Game of Thrones money still. Like let's not forget that. And then too, he can do what he wants, right? Like he's not engaged with Game of Thrones since
it's so funny because he's in Marvel twice. He's in Fox Marvel and he's in Major Marvel, but he's dead now in Major Marvel, right?
No, they didn't kill him.
Then he killed the giant dwarf.
The dwarf is still alive at the end. He's the only one he keeps alive is Peter Dinklage. He was going to be killed off in Thor 4, but they decided to cut that scene. So he's not dead. Good. He's alive.
Okay. All right. Well, there it is. That is. Oh, I'm sorry. What is your grade for the season 1 of House of the Dragon?
If you had asked me like right after I watched it, I would have said like a B-. But today,
so after you talk about it,
it's B. It's a C+. Like,
see, I think it wouldn't have changed after we had the conversation. Regardless, I think your grade would have been a B-, but then after we had the conversation and you realize that there's things you're upset about because you watch it and okay, I just watched it. It's exciting. Thank you very much for stopping by drunk. We do this for you. But no, I agree with you. I think it's a C, solid C. It had really, really high moments. It like the show itself had really high moments. I think a lot of it, there's some dips and plateaus. I think episode 9 and 10. If you put episode 9 and 10 with 1 and 2, if this was a 4-episode show, 1 to 9 and 10, I think this is a B or an A for me.
I think it does get lost in the sauce, particularly in those middle episodes. And again, I cannot forgive what they did with David and Rhaenyra, like in the middle of the show. Yes. I also I mean, there were some really, it's just Game of fucking Thrones again. Like that's what this is. Like I'm just,
it is. Like you and drunk actually are agreeing on this. This is amazing.
Like that's the thing, Mo. What made me realize this is like because I haven't talked about Game of Thrones in like 3 years. It's just Game of fucking Thrones again. Like there's lots of things I like, and I'm like, oh, the acting is really good, and some of the writing's really good. But then it's just like someone's got their dick chopped off, like and then there was an uncle grooming his niece. Like that's just gross shit. Like, why am I putting this in my life? Like, there's times where I'm like, why am I putting this in my life? Why do I like this? And then other times there's just really good drama, really good fantasy drama. I'm like,
I'm not gonna
oh
lie
yeah,
to you. The episode dipped for me as soon as I saw that preemie. No, I
yeah,
couldn't.
that was really bad.
I
That was
was
bad.
done. I'm like, this is again.
I
It
literally
was
put my phone like this. Like,
in my mind, it was very unnecessary. We did not need to see that.
Agreed.
That is something we did not need to see. Otherwise, the episode was really good. The episode would be a B for me, right?
I
Could have
mean,
been an A.
without that, it could be like an A. Yeah, it could be. I'll take it on its own times. Oh my god.
You're not seeing no.
Oh, that's for future season. All right, I'll give you a spoiler. Future seasons, we're gonna see some feet. You got to come back for it.
You got to pay me for that, right?
You got to be on Only Queen. All right,
Only Queen for that.
Only Queen for that.
I think the episode is a B. You take that birthing scene out, and I think it's an A plus. Yeah, but no, ultimately, my hope for House of the Dragon is that it goes up, right? That we start here and we go nothing but up. And I'm scared.
It'll be interesting
And
to see what you think.
I feel like listening to you, I think we're not gonna get up. It's gonna be a lot of middling things that are gonna be happening. Again, the changes could be made and the writers.
I mean, they're cool battles coming. Like, the question is, like, how are they going to do them? There's a lot of battles. This isn't really a spoiler. It's a war, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, like, how are they going to adapt these big battles that they have? I'm, like, interested to see what they do with the material, which some of it is really good. Some of it is, like, just typical Martinisms. Although, except there's only, well, I don't want to give you spoilers. But there's some Martinisms left, so.
Also, we're still going to get some annoying sex scenes that shouldn't happen. You know what? All right, this is where we're gonna end this.
Whoa, we haven't asked the same. Whoa, Mo, we cannot end it. Okay, we've now got to the end of both shows. Which one ended better? House of the Dragon or Rings of Power?
You know what? I'm still gonna go House of the Dragon. Only because if we look at the very end of the show, I think it's a little more exciting.
Oh, it's much more exciting.
Yeah, than watching rings be made, if we're being very honest.
But and a man walking into Mordor. Like a man walking into Mordor. I was told that you do not want to walk into Mordor. So it's like, bro, too many memes. All right. But I agree with you.
Right.
I think that this show was just, its highs were higher than Ring of the Dragon.
Yes. I mean, if you also look at the last episodes, if you compare both last episodes,
wow. Drunk just read Fire and Blood. Folks, there was just spoilers in there, folks.
You know what? I wouldn't listen. It happened in Shrek.
Damn, okay. I have been carefully trying to not give things away. And then we got drunk typing into the YouTube comments where future viewers can see those spoilers. Come on, man.
I'll ask you this though. So out of all the characters that we got, who's your favorite character? Okay. Drunk, who's your favorite character for the show overall? Damon, Rhaenyra, Corlys, Rhaenyra, Otto, Alicent, and Kristen Cole, this loser.
Kristen Cole is not my favorite character. My favorite character is probably Rhaenyra.
You know, okay.
With maybe Alicent as number 2.
Yeah, one more thing before we go. I think one of our friends, Patrick, was like, "Hey, there's no what this show didn't do that Game of Thrones did is give us like good guy, bad guy. This show has happened to show everyone is almost on the same kind of bullshit. Do you think at the end of this, do you think we have a good guy, bad guy?
Ooh, wow, you're getting to the heart of it. Yes.
I'm asking the hard-hitting question.
You know, the hard-hitting question. So I think it's actually one of the weaknesses of this show is there's no straightforward, like, you can cheer for them protagonist, right? The closest is Rhaenyra, but she's a very
Mhm.
much more gray character. I mean, the secret is like, this is going to show, I guess, my political take on this. Like, the Greens are wrong, like, consistently through this, right?
Mhm.
And the show does a good job of showing that both sides are like willing to do what it takes to gain power. But like, Otto is just wrong, and like, this is all Otto's fault, right? Like, Otto's ambition, like, is what causes all of this, and he repeatedly undermines both Viserys's and Alicent's attempts to, and then later Rhaenyra's attempts to create like a solution that doesn't end in violence, right?
Mhm.
And that's, to me, the take. So the blacks are as close as we're going to get to good guys, but that doesn't mean, as the show has made clear with Daemon being one of the blacks, that they're not going to do bad things. It's like if the Starks had their own Joffrey, it would be
Mm.
this. If, like, there was some, Ramsay was a Stark rather than a Bolton, right? There's going to be as villains, they both really definitely did keep it
Yeah,
straight,
I think so. Yes.
because they are definitely the villains. They're both the villains of the show, right? Or the
Mhm.
men, right? So
Aemon. Mhm.
Aemon, well, he was less villainous. He's much more villainous in the book, because here you're more
Interesting.
sympathetic to him, right? Like, he didn't mean to kill Luke, right? He didn't, like,
I mean, he didn't mean to, but he could have just left him alone. Like,
he could have. He's an asshole.
yeah,
So
so it doesn't make him any less piece of shit.
I mean, it's not. I mean, he just, again, straight up murders the kid in the book.
That's the answer right there.
Yeah, that's very true.
Because people, like, if we're being real, like, there's a swath of internet people that think Rhaenyra is evil for what she did to Kristen, even though he was.
Oh, I know. I mean, there's a swath of internet people who think that the blacks are the greatest thing in the entire world, and that
Yes.
Daemon and Rhaenyra are like the hot ship couple.
Listen, I was very surprised when I saw that.
But there are also people who are like, the Greens are right and are the greatest people of all time. Why is Rhaenyra doing anything? It's just like, it's just nonsense. Like,
It is, and I
like,
think if
yeah.
anything the show has done, I will say though that there is some good to not having outright good guys, bad guys, because in this, right, if
Mhm.
Rhaenyra just shows obeisance, right, goes and she can also abate war and just be
Yep.
the Lady of Dragonstone and just call it a day, right? You know what? Fine, go. Take King's Landing. I don't even care. It's not that big of a deal to me, right? She could just. Is she doing this because it was given to her, or is she doing this because of the war that's coming in the future?
So, I mean, she was pretty. Did you notice through most of this episode, after she talks to Otto, she doesn't wear the crown.
Yes.
So, like, Rhaenyra is pretty close to giving up her, like, claim in this episode.
And I think the Aemon thing is what brings her back to it, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, that's the implication of the last scene, right? Like, like, I think that the implication is supposed to be is that Rhaenyra is putting herself in a position to either win with minimal bloodshed, which the plan that she and Corlys and Daemon come up with is like, could,
if we get more people on our side,
if
they're
we
gonna
get
see that they're overwhelmed
and we can put it under siege, and it's like minimal fighting, right? And or she could end up surrendering, but from a position of strength, right? It's like, okay, we have all these people, you've got, I need more than just what Otto promised me there, like, I think that that's kind of where she is when she sends Jace and Luke off. But of course, once Luke is killed,
yeah, I think it just sets off a chain of events. I think so. There is a thing to be said for the show doing that, right? It's like, okay, there's no actual good guy, bad guy. There are characters that we might like. Like, if you look at Lucerys, I'm sorry, Luke. Yeah, if you look at Luke, right, he's a character that we kind of like, because in all of this, the children are, well, apart from Aemon, in all of this, the strong children, it's not their fault. None of this is their fault. Like, they don't own. They're owning the mistakes of the adults. Luke dies because his mom is who she is.
Is that why Luke dies, though? Like, I think he
mean,
dies because of
he did something. Yeah, he
did
did
something when
something,
he was small, and Amon
and Amon never forgave him for it. Yeah, but
and revenges himself, sort of,
yes.
kind of.
So I think like Amon, as sick as he is in that position because of the family he belongs to.
Yes,
Uh,
the
so
family of bad wigs.
yes, they're all a family of bad wigs, all of them.
It
So
unifies
I
the
think
white and black characters. They both have bad wigs in this.
listen, equality.
Yeah, there we go. That's why the show is so woke. Is there's equality in bad wigs for both white and
Right.
black characters.
So I will say this though. I don't think I have as much of a problem as not having like a good guy, a bad guy. I think it kind of leaves it up to like having the internet go, oh, I'm on this side or I'm on this side. It's kind of fun for discourse, right?
It
You know,
is.
it's fun for discourse, but the eye design did look cool.
It did, yeah. It looked very cool.
It almost was like.
I mean, I agree with you, Mo, except for when people start acting like, and the discourse becomes that it's basically just a new version of Democrats versus Republicans,
Yes.
where there's no actual stakes. Like, neither of these sides represent any. I mean, yeah, well, I guess
I
it
don't
could
know.
have
I
been.
think to flesh out. Well, if you take out some episodes, some middle episodes, I guess you could have.
Yeah, you could have, but it would.
Yeah.
I think it would have lost some of its like oomph. Like this show did have the Game of Thrones thing of it did a good job of, unlike say for example Andor, of like ending every episode on a like really strong note that made you like want to watch the next episode.
Want to watch the next episode.
Unlike Andor, which I've actually really enjoyed. I actually am liking Andor much more than I like House of the Dragon.
I keep saying it's boring, and it's just because I don't like. It's not making me want to go. Oh my god, I have to see the next episode. And I think the thing they did last week with the All Cops Are Bastards.
Again, it's back. Oh, and Mo, you have
maybe
also it's in this next one too.
Right, so I'll probably go see that.
I love the politics of the show, but like it just it ends. I was telling my wife this before we started this. Andor just ends, and I'm like, why did I watch this? Like, what did I watch? Like,
I think
this was not like this.
I think Disney's decision not to do coming up or on the next episode of, I think is kind of hurting Andor because you're not making anyone excited for that show for the next episode.
Well, only because I'm excited is like I'm like, all right, yeah, the third episode is always really good.
I mean, that's how I feel, drunk. That's how I feel. I'm just saying.
Okay, well,
but
if we do an Andor episode, we can convince about this, but we shouldn't take over the final House of the Dragon episode.
Right. So, but no. Ultimately,
it's not a She-Hulk recap.
Right. Ultimately, you were saying,
oh yeah, that the show, like I dislike when this discourse becomes like there's real ideological stakes between the blacks and the greens. They're not. The show, unlike, but actually we're an Andor comparison. Like Andor has actually interesting things to say about politics, while
House of Dragon doesn't.
House of Dragons is that patriarchy is bad, that's a fine theme.
That's
like,
it. That's it. That's
I'm cool with that
for House of the Dragon. If we're being honest, like that's
yes,
it.
but it's not tied to blacks and greens, right? The men in both of them suck, right? Damon sucks, Otto sucks, Aegon
Otto
sucks.
and Damon. Yes, that's where we are. That's where we are.
Yeah.
Before we go, this is your last Andor thing that's been said in the chat. And no, thank you again, Drunk. Thank you, Roy. You've made this fun to do every week.
Of course.
Can't wait to see you in 2024.
I'll be here.
Right. Can't wait to do this again in 2024. I don't know what technology we'll be using then. Maybe I'll be able to teleport over and we can do a show.
We'll be doing it in the metaverse, man. Like I got my meta avatar, right? Like that's what the Zoc wants us to do. We follow
right.
Hi, Facebook.
Except Amazon. But anyways, thank you for watching. Drunk, you've been great. Thank you for being here and commenting. We will catch you in 2024. Also, but don't forget, we still do Andor, and that's it, right? So this is the third finale.
Andor is the end of our TV show.
Yeah, Andor's the last one. Wow. Oh, and we did say we're gonna take a look at what's the name of that show on Netflix? The
Midnight Club. We probably should talk about Tales of the Jedi if I can get around to watching it. Once college applications are in, like I will be how much more time.
Yeah, so we have a couple things coming up. I mean, there's Midnight Club. I mean, Netflix stuff is always gonna be there, right?
Yeah.
So we can do that when we get to it.
And we also have, I mean, the big thing that's going to get a lot of coverage on this channel.
Wakanda.
Yes. Again, She-Hulk made it so white people can't say that anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna hear our views on Midnight Club. I think I have 2 more episodes to go on that. I know how far, I don't know where you are. Then we have Wakanda coming up. None of us have seen Black Adam for reasons. Because the power structure, like so far, the power structure in the DC universe has not changed.
Well, it did. James Gunn took over, but that has nothing to do with Black Adam. So.
Right. Oh no, Henry Cavill was also back.
Mm-hmm. But that's not changing. That's the same thing that existed before. So,
well, Ben Affleck isn't back yet, so that's definitely not changing.
So, I mean, just loyal Earth2CC. There's still going to be good stuff.
Yeah, there's still good, and of course the sports show until the end of the football season, and then we got basketball season coming right.
Don't talk to me about basketball season.
And then we got hockey, and then we got baseball. So we're always gonna have stuff coming up for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for 10 weeks. Whew. You know, it's funny. It doesn't feel like 10 weeks.
Feels longer. Like we've been doing this forever. Like I mean that it's been the highlight of my week for months.
You know what, Drake? You are right. No, to be honest, because with Peacock you get date, right? Because Halloween Ends was
no, not Peacock. AMC Plus. So you can watch Interview with the Vampire with Mo, and
honestly,
there's good stuff coming to AMC Plus.
Episode 1 of Interview with the Vampires on Amazon Prime Video. Check it out.
You should also watch if you can stay on crime shows, the one about the indigenous detectives. That's also
yes, that's a good one. Yeah, so I mean, there's stuff to watch. Don't know if we're gonna be doing it. And then we're probably gonna during the break, we're probably gonna bring back our rank shows. We're probably gonna bring back the rank shows.
Maybe we can get Ray to come on.
Yes, we have to get him to come on for Star Wars stuff.
Oh God, where the destruction of Earth2CC, the channel.
Oh, you didn't? We did a show on that.
We did.
Drunk. Yes, it is. It's on the channel. If you want to watch the show that we did we spoil it?
Yes. Yeah, it was spoiler filled.
Oh yeah, it was spoiler filled. So you shouldn't want to check it out until after. But yes, definitely worth the watch.
It's definitely worth the watch. That KB, Mo, and I all agreed. It was
we did. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. KB was back for that. KB and I said we're gonna do some show. I forget the name. It's in the chat somewhere. So there's stuff that's gonna be still be done on the channel. That's not House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings, or She-Hulk. Yes, okay. Andor is gonna be done till the end of that. I think for Andor we have
till Thanksgiving.
Yes, 5 more weeks. Oof. Of 2 mid episodes and 1 banger, and then 2 mid episodes and 1 banger. Oh yeah. God, I hate that structure. But yeah, thank you again. Thank you, Roy. Thank you so much. Again, it's been fun.
Dracarys, folks.
This break is gonna be so hard on me. But yes, don't forget to Dracarys, the like, share, subscribe button. We will catch you in 2 years for Game of Thrones, but we'll catch you every other week for something else.